let's go. How's it going, guys? Today I am answering a question a lot of people tend to ask themselves whenever they send me an email. It's usually the subject of the email, and it's, why do I suck at guitar? First answer is, you don't. We're all on this journey together. We're all works in progress. It's not a race. People tend to list what they can do, and whenever I take on a new student, I tend to see this for real, and it will be people have got various different pentatonic licks down, they have a fair amount of competence in 3-note per string scales, they've got a little bit of legato, they've got a little bit of alternate picking. It's there. They've got tools to use, but 9 times out of 10, the weak point is bending and vibrato. And bending and vibrato is the most neglected skill I see in guitarists nowadays. It doesn't matter who you meet or what kind of guitar player you are. So in this lesson, I'm going to give you a tutorial in how to improve your technique. If you're new around here, I'm going to show you how to get yourself started. And if you are new around here, by the way, hit that like button and subscribe. I would really appreciate that. It helps me a lot. The main thing with vibrato is its confidence. You could be the slowest guitar player on the planet. Let's take a famous example of someone who doesn't play quickly, Dave Gilmour. The reason he sounds so confident is because his bending and vibrato is all together. It just works. There's not a single element of shred in his playing whatsoever. So in this video, I'm going to take you through vibrato as it should be, in my opinion, and hopefully sprinkle some extra confidence into your playing so that you can finish your licks with flair. Before I really lay into this tutorial, I want to lay down a little ground rule here. If there are any Stevie Ray Vaughan fans watching, or people who use unbelievably heavy strings in standard tuning, there's a reason you've probably been struggling. So what I recommend is opting for a more common string gauge. It could be 9 to 42 or 10 to 46, which is on this guitar, in standard tuning. That will be more worthwhile. Gain the skills on a more comfortable string gauge and then transfer said skills over to a heavier gauge, whether you're playing baritone guitars or if you're a Stevie Ray Vaughan fan, you've got 13s on a Strat. It's totally up to you, but that's what I recommend you do first. For this tutorial, I'm going to be in the key of B minor. And in the pentatonic scale, because that's where most of the best bends tend to live. And one thing I recommend here is coming up with different placements for different bends. And I'm talking to people who might be really new to this technique here, is if you're playing pentatonic licks, one thing that will give you an extra layer of feel and class is to understand the microtonal bend, which is if you're bending up, say, the minor third, which in this case is D, you'd be bending it up to a note that's, you're just squeezing it that tiny bit. You could play the slowest lick in the world and it sounds like you've got some feel to your playing rather than really works. We've got more style and flair already, and just that subtle little change. Then to move on to the more rockier stuff, I mean, I am moving quickly here because we do have a limited amount of time. It's to get comfortable with the idea that most of our heroes, unless you're John Sykes, tend to play, if it's a slower track, they tend to push the note up a half step, and then when it's faster, you're pushing up a full step or more. And in this case, you have to be able to intonate correctly a half step bend or a full step bend. Those two first ones being full step bends, and then the last one being a half step to the blue note. That gives you an extra layer of confidence into adding the vibrato here. And all we're doing technique-wise is I'm having my thumb, I'm placing it up at the top of the neck here, so it can allow the hand to just swing. It's not clamped down like a vice or anything like that, it's just hanging there, and it allows the ball joint at the end of your index finger here to be the fulcrum rotation point, whatever you want to call it. And you've got this freedom to turn your hand rather than push up with the force of your fingers, which I see so many people doing. So the idea here is to press into the fretboard with a fair amount of pressure, so you've really got a good purchase of the string. And pull down towards the floor with the force of your hand and wrist, maybe a bit of forearm in there, depending on how wild you're going. Then for anything that might be resembling there, I'm pushing with 2 fingers on the 1 string. I've got my ring finger fretting the 9th fret of the G there, and then the main finger that's acting as muscle is my middle finger, and then if I'm really pushing it, I'll have the index finger on there as well. So it really allows for complete control over the string there. An extra layer of skill is to learn to add vibrato to a bend. And this is something that so many of my heroes do. Eddie Van Halen, Nuno Bettencourt, Steve Vai, Jakey Lee, Zakk Wylde, Randy Rhoads, you name it, they all do this. And what you've got, take something like that maybe. There, I'm pushing up the B string a full tone, then relaxing, that's what gives you the tone. So many people try to push the bent tone further and then back to the bent tone, and it doesn't work. It doesn't sound like it's all there. So the most important thing is to consider allowing that bend to be backed off slightly. Relax. Relax. Up. And then once you hide the join between what I was doing there, it comes out magically as a bent note with vibrato. To move on to the more extreme stuff before we finish, the really wild vibrato, you tend to find this at the top of the fretboard here, where you might be to shift out of B minor. Let's put it in, I don't know, G sharp minor. You tend to hear players like Zakk Wylde, Satchel, Gus G, you name it, they'll do vibrato at the... like that. There, I'm pushing 2 whole steps. Sorry. Yeah. Or you could say a step and a half. And all that is knowing how far you're bending to, and then applying the same transferable skills we had before, using more than 1 finger and pulling down towards the floor, and then simply applying all of the pressure in the hand. The fingers just have to show up. That would be my vibrato technique wrap for today. Thanks a lot for watching this video, you guys. I hope you've liked what you've seen. Please remember, you don't suck at guitar. Please make sure you hit like, subscribe, and help yourselves to either one of the videos that are on the screen now. I'd really appreciate it. Take care, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.